what's up guys? Panic here, otherwise known as Panic Picnic. And as you know, Retribution dropped. It is fantastic if you guys have not played. Now, what I'm going to do is for the full version where the full list of heroes are able to be played, I'm going to go over which heroes, in my opinion, are good at it, which ones you guys should think you should play for it, and all in general, like, pros and cons of every hero in the full Retribution. Now, to fully get to the Retribution to be able to play the full list of heroes, you're going to go to Play, you're going to go to Arcade, you're going to go to Co-op Mission Archives. I know they did a little, I know you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to be able to hide it, to be able to find it. You're going to go to Mission Archives, and you're going to go to Co-op where it says Retribution All Heroes. I usually have been playing on Expert, and this is pretty much where most of my knowledge is going to be coming from, because if it's not viable at Expert, it will not be viable on Legendary difficulty. Alright, so first things first, it all depends on, some of these will depend on your team comp, and if you're playing with friends or not, because they're obviously going to be a lot easier to be able to be able to go along with your ideas. I'm just going to be able to go through the heroes, through the hero gallery, so you can see what I'm going to be talking about. So, some heroes, I'm just going to go in order, see who's really good. Ana is actually pretty good as well. The main reason why is because you, of course, get a little bit of healing boost. And the Nano is obviously really good as well to heal your team. But the biggest thing, of course, that you're going to get is her, the Nano boost. Outside of that, Ana is, in my opinion, not the best healer for this mode. She's just, all in all, just average. And in a case below average, especially if she's your only healer, because she has to use her grenade to heal herself. And that's, in my opinion, one of the weakest parts about her. Bastion is always good because he does have a self-heal, so you don't have to really worry about him in terms of survivability. And of course, his tank mode at the end, when you're on the precipice, it's pretty good at dealing also with the big machine that has two machine guns, the big robot with two machine guns. And all in all, he's pretty good at dealing with that because, again, that's what Bastion does great, is a lot of damage. Bridgette is obviously really good in this mode. I'm not sure if you guys actually know how good she is, but she is fantastic. And the main reason why she is so good is because of her passive ability that she has. Everything she hits, she heals. She's great for killing those mobs. Also, that the armor and the speed boost she has comes in great handy, especially when if you're running a lot of squishier heroes that need that extra armor to be able to survive. And it can be great cover for some heroes such as Doomfist and Ginji. It makes them pretty hard to kill. Also, she's really good with, of course, Reinhardt, because Reinhardt can just run around and slam things, and she's great at those burst heals with armor, which is fantastic. Diva is also pretty good, and the main reason why is you're going to get a lot of that burst damage from her rockets. You won't be doing a whole lot of dipsing and diving with your jet, with your rocket boosters to fly around the map, but you do generate your ult pretty quickly to generate the Diva Bomb. However, from what I've played of it, it doesn't seem like the Diva Bomb does a whole lot of damage. Like you're not going to get that huge AoE clear that you would normally get in regular games that you would be playing in competitive or just regular games. And that's my opinion. I think that's really the only downside to her. I mean, it's pretty good when your Diva does explode and your healers are down. You need a way to get back into your mech. But all in all, I don't think she's the best. I think she's just average. And the main reason why, like I said, is the Diva Bomb, in my opinion, does not feel as viable as it should be, even if you're getting it pretty quick. Doomfist, on the other hand, is really good. He can mop up a lot of characters, especially if you're really good with Doomfist. The only downside with him is, of course, it's high skill ceiling, so you need to know how to play Doomfist to play Doomfist. But he's great at clearing mobs. His ult is fantastic. You're going to generate it quick. The amount of damage is generating in shields. His passive is fantastic in that regard, so it increases his survivability. All in all, I'd say if you can play Doomfist, I would recommend Doomfist. And he also doesn't have the problems that our next guy has. Ginji, in my opinion, while he is in the main roster like the main 4-person roster that's being released in the story, I don't think he's very good in Retribution. And you're like, why? Genji's fantastic. I mean, I'm a ninja. Gotta be Hokage. But Ginji, in my opinion, the reason why he's not good at higher difficulties is not because of the skill it takes to play, is not because of the skill ceiling that sets him back, like the high skill that would be required to play him. It is because at higher difficulties, such as even an expert, and especially into legendary, Genji's main fallback is the fact that he's going up against AI. And you're like, why is that a drawback? Because it's a lot harder for Ginji, it's a lot harder for the AI to miss. The AIs have certain advantage. In other words, like it's a lot harder for them to miss. They do more damage. So if you're playing Ginji, you need to be at the top of your game. You can't just run in or you're just going to instantly die. Like it takes a lot more skill than, and he's really, really squishy. Like if you're playing Ginji, like you got to be playing like a Bridgette. You got to be playing with like a Torb. You got to be playing with something to keep him alive, or he will die every 5 seconds, even if he is like God tier. And like I said, it mainly has to do with like the AI. They're going to be able to just shoot him from right. They're going to be able to just shoot him, and it's going to do a lot more damage, and it's going to be a lot harder for Ginji to dodge, like you would be going up against a normal player. Like for instance, if you're playing against, let's say, Effort, or if we're just being a bigger name, is Seagull. Seagull could be Ginji, and he's like, oh yeah, well I can dodge a player's shot. But in the AI is a little bit harder. That's just my opinion. And every Ginji I play against, you never know really what you're gonna get with him. That being said, let's go into his brother Hanzo. Hanzo is actually pretty good. I'm not really a big fan of his scatter shot in this one though, because it doesn't appear to do like a whole lot of damage. Granted, I'm not a Hanzo main, and I'm actually not the best with it. I'm actually not the best at geometry, which kind of sucks. I mean, you gotta be good at geometry to do Hanzo. But what really sets him apart is that even though scatter shot, in my opinion, is not like I'm not good with it at all. It's great for ult generation, especially on larger targets, like the big heavy guy with machine guns. And you're getting this dragon that does a whole lot of clear damage. You can clear out a whole lane, a lot of compact spaces. Especially when how the campaign and this little story mode is going to be plays out, and I think that's really what sets him apart. He can basically save a lot of your team, and he can clear out a whole lot of areas, especially since he's getting that ult so quick. So all in all, I think he's pretty good, especially because, like I said, his ult's fantastic in this mode. Junkrat is actually a sleeper hero in my opinion. I haven't seen a whole lot of Junkrats being played, and I'm surprised. Junkrat does a whole lot of damage, especially with his just basic attacks. Especially on the part when you first meet the heavy, you can literally just destroy it and it can't really hit you because it's not going to get that angle to be able to shoot at you. You just get on the little roof and you'll be able to shoot down and just arc it in. Also, what makes Junkrat so good, and the reason why I say he's kind of a sleeper hero and I haven't really seen a whole lot of people play him, is because you're getting that trap to deal with the assassin. Now the assassin's really the biggest problem in my opinion, because it's hard to hit, it generates, it can come in, it can attack, and it can basically just jump in at any one of your teammates, and it's going to lock them down, especially if they're just out of position. Junkrat, on the other hand, you don't really have to worry about it. Just place down a trap, just run in at them, or they can run in at you, and guess what? The assassin's trapped, and you just DPS it down. Also, what makes it so good is, that area as well, is let's say you don't want to let's say you can't trap the assassins because it took 3 lines of cocaine and it's just running around too fast like a crackhead. All you do is let it jump on your tank, you DPS it down, he does a whole lot of damage, the enemy can't do anything about it. Like I said, that's also a huge strength of Bridgette, because she does have that stun to stun the assassin as well. And also, if you guys don't know, and I highly recommend you at least heed this one advice, especially if you're going to do expert and legendary, when the assassin jumps on your teammate, if it jumps on your tank, it's best in my opinion to just like see how much the HP the tank has. Maybe you have your position to DPS it down. Or if you can't DPS it down on the person, because it'll stay on the person for a while, punch it. If you punch the assassin, if you go all Chris Brown on the assassin, you knock it off. I know it's a little bit of a dated reference, but it still is a reference. Alright, next we've got Lucio. In my opinion, Lucio is not very good, actually. I mean, yeah, you're going to get that heal, and I think it's good for, like, of course, lower health heroes, but it's not, you're not getting a whole real lot out of Lucio, because you're not really getting that large damage potential as you would get from, let's say, other heroes. Like, in my opinion, Bridgette would just do better because you can do AoE against the ads. Lucio's not really going to do much. Like, he's got his heal, he's got his ult. I mean, Lucio would be great if you just want to speedrun it. Like, if you want to set those speedrun times, set Lucio to speed boost, and oh my god, you're going to be done with this map. Like, the only thing you're going to be waiting on really is the dropship because you're running through things so fast. Alright, let's, that, like, I wouldn't pick him. McCree, on the other hand, is actually really good. Like, he's also in the main storyline, and he's actually pretty good, especially if you're good with McCree and good at taking those shots. He's good at his ult generation. What also makes him so good is, of course, against the assassin. If you can manage it, his flashbang is pretty good at just stunning it, maybe get a little bit of damage on it, just take it off guard. Like, it's good for that. His ult is okay. I mean, there's a couple of good points, and I'll run it through on just like an easy mode in a later area to show you when I think you should use McCree's ult in higher levels, like such as an expert and legendary on the real game mode. Just so you can be able to see, in my opinion, when the best points to use your ult. Not the best McCree, but I mean, there are certain areas that I think are specifically scripted that McCree should use his ult for the best advantage, and one area in particular that I do know, and it just makes your life so much easier. Mei is pretty good, and the only reason why I say she's pretty good is she's got the wall, which can provide if your teammates do go down. She's really like a failsafe. It's like you're planning for failure when you pick Mei. Of course, her regular basic shot, I mean, her right click, when you're just shooting the icicles, does do pretty good damage. However, the only thing I think is a really big limitation to her that I would not recommend picking her is because of the ice. I mean, it's because of her regular, like, her freeze ray. It's not, I mean, her little freeze is not good. It doesn't last long on basically legendary enemies. And the reason, like, and I would say like assassins. And more specifically, the reason why I tried to pick Mei is because I thought we could just freeze the big guy with machine guns, and he would just freeze, and then you're just like, boom, it'll be easy mode, we're done. We just kick it, we just burn him down. It doesn't work that way. Her ult is also not very good at all because it's easy to miss, and you really would just be holding on to that ult for specific enemies, such as, like I said, the big guys where it's easier for you to hit. Otherwise, you don't really want to use it on ads because you're just going to be able to DPS them through quick, and your ult's either going to miss or you're going to throw it on a bunch of dead people. Other than that, like I said, the biggest pro for Mei is her wall. If you're trying to res somebody, but again, the guy with the robot with the machine guns, like the Gundam, can pretty much just destroy it. Can cut a hole through it. So, like I said, I would not recommend Mei, not at all. Mercy, on the other hand, is absolutely fantastic. Oh my god, girl, she is great in this mode. Like I said, she is a better failsafe support than pretty much everyone here. Like, if things start going bad, Mercy's fantastic. And the main reason why is because of the res. You don't have to just sit on something. You don't have to sit and wait for them to get resed. You just instantly res. It doesn't matter how many times a person has died, just res it, and it's instant. It's not like, I mean, it's not going to be like, oh, you still got to do your little cast animation. But anyways, it's really good in that regard. Of course, you're going to get your heal as well. And you're going to pretty much get your ult pretty quick as well, especially if you pull out your pistol and do like in my normal competitive experience, and you're just normally see DPS Mercies. All in that, it's pretty good. Like, I would highly recommend Mercy. Like I said, she's a really good failsafe support in this game mode. Moira, on the other hand, is not really a failsafe support, but she is she's fantastic. Obviously, especially depending on your roster that you're running, the heals that she has is great. Like, you get your orb of healing. I wouldn't recommend her really for damage. Of course, I mean, she does have options to do it. But with the amount of ads that are on the screen, your heal is always going to be up. You're always going to have enough juice to use it. So it's like, why would you just not use it? And then, of course, with that as well, you're going to get your ult really quick every single time. That's great for like some damage you just need to be able to put out. If you just need to just get a whole bunch of enemies to be able to put out a whole lot of damage. I mean, it gives you a little bit of damage, but like I said, she's great. Like, her healing is fantastic. There should be no reason why like you have any issues with healing. I mean, she's just great. Arisa as well is absolutely fantastic. I was actually kind of surprised with that. I actually have a kind of an Arisa bias. She's not my favorite tank in the world, but in this mode, she is great. Of course, you have, like, in the end mode, she's got her shield, which lasts for she's got her little barrier shield, which lasts for a while. And she's great just not only in that, but also when she does her fortify. That fortify is fantastic when the giant robot with machine guns charges you. You've got that fortify and be like, look, you're not gonna move me. I don't want to move. I'm gonna stay right here. And it just hits you, and you're like, look, you're gonna stay alive. You're not gonna take any damage. The fortify is really what makes Arisa so great in this mode, in my opinion, as well as the barrier she brings. I mean, the gun, of course, isn't overall the best, but it does do damage. And of course, her ult, she's gonna have it, well, not 100% like every 5 seconds like some characters will. But she's just pretty good in general. Like, you get the fortify, it's great. It's a great tank on the harder enemies that you would be having to deal with. Also with that fortify and barrier, it's great for helping people get rezzed. And like I said, she's a great pick. Pharah, on the other hand, is not really the greatest of picks. Well, yes, you do have the boop, which is pretty good on some areas, especially when you're trying to go through the bridge, and you can just knock enemies off into the water. And I think a lot of people don't know that as well. Is you can knock enemies off into the water. I mean, like Bridgette, you should do it with Bridgette and other characters as well, and especially Pharah. If you've got the boop, do your best to try to throw enemies off into the lake so you don't have to deal with them. That being said, I think she suffers from the same problem Ginji does, in that you're going up against the AI. What makes Pharah so good in competitive and other areas is she's got the flight for the... she can move around, so it's harder for her to get hit. But when you've got AI, like I said, they know what Pharah does. It's easier for them to shoot her down. And plus, every enemy on the enemy team pretty much is a hit scan, so I wouldn't really recommend Pharah. That being said, I mean, a big thing that she does have is her ult, which does do some good damage against against a single target if you're good enough. But like I said, that's if you can survive long enough. And all in all, like I said, I really would not recommend picking Pharah in this mode. Reaper is also in the 4 players you have access to, and Reaper's okay. Actually, I think what makes him like, he's better than he would be. And the reason why I say that is because, especially with the addition of the Reaper buffs that went through, I'm not sure if it's that is in this patch right now, especially on this Retribution. What makes it so good is Reaper can just go in, like, he can go boom, boom, boom with the shotguns, phase in, phase out immediately, because you can decide when you want to do it. It's your life. You can do what you want, Reaper. You can be as edgy as you want. You can go shop at Hot Topic. You can phase in. You can phase out. You don't have to listen to what your parents say anymore. And it gives you that extra damage. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, he's the only downside is things don't die fast enough. Don't go down fast enough in higher ranks. So it almost feels like he has pea shooters when he's going up against tanks. And that's, in my opinion, the biggest weakness. I mean, that's what it could just be that I'm not getting close enough. I mean, I don't know, but it just feels like he's not doing enough damage. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say, especially since he's known for doing up close damage. I just don't feel like he's the best, and it also feels like they may have fully nerfed his either in the full one or at least just in Retribution, his ult generation. So it feels like it takes forever to get his ult, and again, like I said, that's just the way I view it. And I can understand why, because if he just kept getting his ult super quick, he would just decimate all the ads, and you could literally just Beyblade through it. But I think it's, like I said, it doesn't feel like that overwhelming as it should be. But, I mean, like I said, you can play him if you want. Reinhardt, like I said earlier when I mentioned Bridgette, is freaking fun. He can just go around beating people. He can charge. Sadly, the charge, of course, doesn't work on the bigger robots. But again, like I said, he does have that giant barrier shield. His Fire Strike is fantastic for cutting through multiple ads. He's got a huge health pool. And especially when you pair him up with Bridgette, he's unstoppable because his armor is always up and the enemy have trouble dealing with armor. I'd say the biggest problem with, I'd say the biggest advantage or the biggest problem with Retribution is the enemies, other than the shotgunners, really, have no real way to cut through your armor. So any character that you're going to be going with armor is fantastic. That being said, Reinhardt has armor. Throw him with Bridgette. You're constantly being healed with Bridgette's basic attack. You've got armor. Bridgette gives you armor. Bridgette gives you more armor. Reinhardt, in general, is just a fantastic. He's a fantastic pick. It's great. He's great in this mode. And also you get Earthshatter, which of course is great. I mean, you can't beat it. It's fantastic. Roadog, on the other hand, you think he's gonna be great, but he's not really that great when you in practice. You think he's gonna be great because he's got the shotgun. He's got a ranged shotgun, like with his right click. I mean, he's got a heal, he's got a hook, he's got an ult. And it's like, what's the problem? What's the problem with Roadog? Well, the problem with Roadog is, of course, he's got the health, so he doesn't really got the armor that really sets certain tanks that it's going to be set apart from. So I'd say put in a little lower tier in case of that. But he does have the heal, and so he can get that extra damage out. That being said, he doesn't feel like he does a full lot of damage when it comes to, like I said, more legendary characters or like legendary mobs. And the reason I'm calling them more legendaries because they actually have like they don't look fully generic like the red shirts they constantly keep sending at us from Talon. But his ult is also a big downside, especially when you're going up against the the heavy guy with machine guns, because you really can't do anything during that mode. You have to constantly be being healed. I thought Roadhog would be good because he would get that extra damage and he'd be able to do a lot of bit of clear up. He's not as effective as I thought he would be, but I mean he's okay. You'd have to try him. I would definitely recommend you at least play him so you kind of know what I'm talking about. But he's a little bit difficult. Now we're gonna go into Soldier 76. Soldier 76 is fantastic. I mean he's great. It's Soldier 76. He's great because he's got his heal. You have the assassin. Don't know where the assassin is because she's bouncing all around, playing pinball. Pop your ult. No problem. You know where she is at all times. He's great at damage from range. He's got his burst with his rocket. I mean, he literally has everything, and he's fantastic. Like, he's just great. Sombra, I mean, Sombra's okay. I mean, she's just okay. I'm not really getting, like, the full vibe that she could be fantastic. But, like I said, I think she's just okay. And that's really the only thing I'm going to say on it. She's just really just okay in this mode. Of course, like, she has her EMP and she has her hack. But she's not really hacking health. She can't really hack health packs for the extra healing. Her gun is, like I said, with buffs that I've gone through from previously, she's pretty good in that area. But you've got to get so up close and personal that, like, even some parts of her kit, in my opinion, aren't very well, really well tailored to this mode, because of course you've got your translocator and invisibility. Like, it's not the best. It's not the best in this mode. You're not really like, that's really the big thing. Is like it's really not the best. I mean, like I haven't really tried invisibility, like especially when I played her on an expert mode in terms of how it does with res, because sadly no one died. So I would recommend that if someone wants to just try that out, just see how it goes. It might be able to help you. Other than that, I can't really speak with full-fledged experience on that and how that applies. Symetra. I really thought Symetra was gonna be great in this mode, especially with her beam and everything. I mean, she's got a good ult. I mean, for extra HP. However, if you do play Symetra, you have to build a team around Symetra. What I mean by that is because she does have low HP. She's going to be in the center of everything. And she's got no real survivability skills. Other than a freaking, like, mobile. Like, you throw a little, like, force shield while it moves. I mean, she's good on damage, but it feels like it's always lacking in the amount of damage output that's actually being done, even at full charge. I mean, what is pretty good about it is the turrets, which can add that extra damage that I feel that she's missing. But since you're constantly being pushing forward, some of you're really waiting on that long turret recharge cooldown. Also, like I said, you have to play around her, and what I mean by that is you have to give her armor, you have to give her heal. She's constantly going to be focused because she's constantly going to be in the front lines, and so you have to be playing, I would say, a Bridgette or throw Torb armor on her or constantly heal her. Like I said, if you're playing Symetra, you need to build a team around her. Also, when you get your ult, you have to wait really until the last point to be able to fully use it. Otherwise, you're out of shield range, or like, it's, in my opinion, it's not the best. And if it is the best, you have to build a team around it. So you have to make a lot of sacrifices if you're going to go up on higher difficulties. But like I said, if you play it well and you got the turret, her turret cooldown managed, you can actually do a lot of additional damage, which is pretty nice. It seems like the ads have a little bit trouble dealing with her, just dealing with the turrets. So I think that's pretty nice. Speaking of armor and people that you would need to support, Torbjorn. Torbjorn is unsurprisingly fantastic at this mode. You've got the turret for extra damage and helps you deal with with the assassin, which is bouncing all around. Helps you deal with ads. Like I said, it's additional damage. He's got his regular basic attack, which does a lot of damage, especially on crit. He has his shotgun with a right click, which does a lot of damage as well. It's constantly pretty much going to be generating ult, which can help you for survivability. He's constantly throwing armor, so it can be helping to help other characters, such as Symetra, such as Doomfist, such as Ginji, or anyone else. You basically can have anyone he's like an extra healer because you're getting that armor. And like I said, the ads have a little bit trouble dealing with armor. So I think he's pretty good in that regard. I think he's a great pick, and I was kind of surprised, even with the mobility that you would be constantly moving forward, that the turret does a great job. And the ads, like I said, seem to have a little bit trouble dealing with the turret. And in other words, it seems like in some cases it's not their top priority, in other cases it is. It's kind of a gamble in some cases, but in general, you just pop Molten Core and you pretty much have a free area. So it's really good. Next, we've got Tracer. I don't really like Tracer in this mode. Again, I'm not the best Tracer, so I can't really speak with someone who's obviously better. But if you're good enough, you're of course going to be getting a lot of pulse bombs, which is of course great, and that's really going to be where your main source of damage is going to be coming from. But like I said, she's going to be suffering from the same problem as this tic-tac-toe row here, with Tracer, Pharah, and Ginji surprisingly all being in a little bit of a line right here on survivability, with ads being a problem. In other words, they have an easier chance of shooting at you. They know where you are. Like, it's not like you're sneaking around when an ad just knows where you are pretty much at all times. But you've got the blinks. I mean, you've got the mobility, which is always a good choice. But it can lead you into being put out of position, or you'd have to put a healer, of course, with her. She would, of course, need some armor. But the pulse bomb, like, that's really going to be the best, especially with how fast you're going to be generating it, since you're going to be... There's plenty of people in this. So there should really be no problem with you generating your ult. So, I mean, like I said, these three really do revolve around skill and your team, but I would not recommend them, with the exception of Ginji, because his Dragon Blade. That's really about it, but even then, you might have to go in and... Ginji might just pull up his Dragon Blade and you have to go and save him. Next, we've got Widowmaker. I thought Widowmaker was going to be garbage in this mode. I'll be honest. I thought she was going to be garbage. However, this is an AI mode, and the AI don't move. Which, the AI don't move. So, going to be getting a lot of headshots on ads, like just basic, low level, which is pretty good. But other than that, like, I really wouldn't pick her, because you do have the hook shot, of course, but that can lead you into, that can put you into positions where your allies actually can't res you, especially if you jump up to an area that your allies can't get to you and be able to get into the circle like you're getting into some of the sniper posts that the enemy snipers have. So I would definitely watch out for that. Other than that, she does, like I said, do a lot of good damage, and it does seem that the AI have a little bit trouble dealing with her, and like how to combat her, or just like, I was like, hey, it's a Widow, what do we do? Like I said, she does need a little bit of protection, but I mean, if you're willing to take that risk, Widow is pretty good. Like, she's pretty good, surprisingly. Another character that surprised me of usefulness is Winston. Winston is great in this mode. And the reason why I say that is, especially with all the ads, his Tesla cannon is always hitting everything. It's always hitting the low levels. It's constantly doing damage. You're constantly getting your ult. You're constantly having 1,000 HP. You're constantly throwing people, the enemies, into the water and off the map, which is great. It's like you just jump in, you get your damage from your ult, you punch someone because you just punch someone because you're a monkey, and you just use your Tesla cannon, and you throw your bubble down. I mean, the bubble's not the full, like, effective fully, because it does have that long cooldown, but other than that, like, he's great. Like, he's fantastic in this mode, and honestly, I had so much fun playing Winston in this mode. I'll be honest, it was a little bit of I'm speaking with a little bit of bias. Just go play him. You'll see what I mean. He's one of the most fun characters in this mode. It's like you're just pub stomping on brawls. Zaria, I thought, would actually be pretty good, because you're always going to have constant charge. However, like I said, with she almost falls into the same boat with Symetra. There's really nothing it feels like you don't do a lot of damage. And I think this could be because you're not really have the ability to get those criticals. And your ult feels like they changed it. Like I said, the same with Reaper. But it feels like the ult just takes forever to generate. It's either that, or it's like Zaria's ult has always just been that long, and that's like, it doesn't make any sense. Especially with a full 100% charge, you think it would just go up pretty quick, but even when you have 100% charge and you're constantly hitting things, your ult is just, like, you think it would just be nice. You have a little bit of a hard area, just pop your ult, boom, might help you out. Ult's completely useless in this game because it takes forever. And even with 100% charge, and you're like, okay, well, I'll just use a right click. And you're like, it's not that, in my opinion, it's not that useful, because it just feels like I'm just tickling the enemy with even with 100% charge. Like, it doesn't feel like she does a whole lot in this mode. Well, yes, she does have that bubble the bubbles for herself, and her ally, which can add survivability, I don't really recommend it. Like, I think you could just pick other characters. Like, I think other characters could easily fill that role. If you want more survivability, just get a shield. Like, Reinhardt, Arisa are always really good tanks in this mode. Winston is even good because, like I said, he's got a bubble. And he at least feels like he does damage against the ads. With Zaria and Symetra, feels like I'm putting too much of my time into the enemy, and it's just like I feel like I'm not really getting a whole lot of results out of it. And I feel like, if anything, I'm actually not benefiting my team. And I have to say, like, that's really how I feel when I'm playing those two characters. And I personally would not recommend Zaria. Seeing how this is more of a somber note with Zaria, let's end on a highly optimistic note, and that is my boy Zenyatta. Zenyatta is fantastic in this mode. I would say he is borderline OP in this mode. And you're like, Panic, why is he OP? Well, comparatively to, I'll place him in the support category for now, and then we'll move our way up, and you'll see why. Well, comparatively to a support, one, he of course does have his heal, which is of course a very mobile heal. Well, it's very sustainable, and it's not fully AoE, so it's good for hitting those characters that constantly like to move around. Tracer, Pharah, Ginji, is just to name a few. You can also keep it on your tank, or even characters who are more susceptible to damage. But also, unlike Mercy or even Ana, who has to be in a constant line of sight, but with everything constantly moving, it's a little bit hard. Zenyatta can constantly be doing damage. I mean, he does more damage than Lucio. He does more. Mercy's got to switch to her weapon. Ana's got to be in line of sight. Zenyatta just constantly hits things. I mean, yeah, he's got a shield, so he constantly has his own sustain. He constantly has his own sustain, so he doesn't need to really, like, unless his HP drops to a certain extent. But then again, he always has some HP because of his shield regeneration. The only thing here, the only support that I think could rival him in terms of utility would be Bridgette, for healing. I mean, or for the ability for healing and damage, especially for ads. But then again, Zenyatta also has the added bonus of one. Of course, he has his regular orbs, like his regular attack does a lot of damage. His right click does even more damage, and then on top of that, you're getting his Discord orb, which is fantastic for against one of those more epic or legendary mobs, such as and I've been playing a lot of WoW, if you can't tell. Especially for the robot with the machine guns, with the Gatling guns. Zenyatta throws that on. You're getting that huge extra damage that everything isn't gonna, that most of it aren't gonna be able to help you do. So it can make other characters more useful, easy to do more damage. Like I said. And then he's got one of the most broken things in the game, which is a free res. You're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, this is why I'd say I'd set him above Mercy to an extent. Once he gets his ult, as you know, he becomes a giant healing orb, and he's invincible. He cannot be targeted, and he takes no damage. And you're like, okay. Now you stated that. Well, duh. I've played competitive. I've played whatever. I already know that. Well, do you know you can also throw him over one of your downed teammates, and you can it's like a free res. Let's say your tank goes down, or someone decides to go die in the middle of nowhere, Ginji. You just pop your ult. You go over there, you're getting shot at by, let's say, 100 people, but guess what? It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about that. You're getting a free res. Because that time you're in that invincible form, that unstoppable form, no, they can't touch you. You just res it for free. And then on top of it, he's got his AoE. His ult is also useful as a great healing tool when you've been taking a lot of damage from, let's say, like, again, the giant guy with machine guns. The Discord orb also does great against him. Zenyatta, in my opinion, like I said, is fantastic in this mode. That being said, I'm just going to do a little bit quick on who's good, who's bad. Average, wouldn't recommend. Okay, great, bad, good. Depends on your luck. Okay, like he's okay. Really, the best thing he's got is his ult. Pretty good, surprisingly good. You should play him. Garbage, good, I wouldn't say garbage, but I'd say she's close to garbage. Good, great, garbage. I'd say pretty garbage. I'd say he's average at best. Great, average, great. I don't have enough information. I'd say pretty garbage on this one. I'd say great. Don't really have enough information. Not the best. I'd say okay. Okay. Fun. That's what this get. You paid $60 for paid $60 for a game. Go have fun. Play Winston. I will sell this man. He's fantastic. Also, I'd say he's great too. So that being said, I'd say garbage. Fantastic. That being said, pick some. Like I said, these are all my opinion from the playtime I have on it. Like I said, I've been playing a lot more. I've been playing a lot of expert to see how these characters do. This may change based on your team. I've been playing a little bit of legendary with it as well to see if anyone has any trouble. That being said, my name is Panic Picnic. If you make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what I do here. And I hope to see you guys at the picnic table if you guys subscribe. And also, since YouTube has been really screwy, make sure to hit that bell if you like what I do so you can get notified. It's a way to show up at least. That being said, like I said, I'm Panic Picnic, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.